Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so grateful that you came back, and if it's your first time, thank you for stopping in. So, as we planned, we was going to go over strategies for multiplying one-digit numbers, but realistically, this is meant to be an end of the year review. So that's what we're doing. However, we're still in school. So there's some things that my son is having a little bit of trouble on. And so we're in measurement, and I said this is a perfect opportunity to go ahead and share with you guys how we're going to attack our challenges. This way, we can stay on course to what we're learning now, and this way won't be too much of a review. So if you prefer or you was really looking forward to diving into our multiplying strategies, then drop a comment down and let me know. And I'll be sure to be next on my list. However, we are still in the current year right now, guys. So if there's some things that you want to work on that I haven't mentioned yet, be sure to just drop it in a comment and I'll be sure to make a lesson plan and give you some problems that you could work and some strategies and tips that'll help you be successful. Well, come on, guys, let's get started. Today's aim, measurement. Find equivalence in units of measure. Which of the statements about the three shapes below is true? We have shape A, 8 centimeters, 4 centimeters. We have shape B, 10 centimeters, 2 centimeters. And we have shape C, which is a square, so that all sides are equal, 5 centimeters. Choice A, the area in the perimeter of B's rectangle is greater than the area and the perimeter of C's square. Choice B, the area and the perimeter of C's square is greater than the area and the perimeter of B's rectangle. Choice C, the area and perimeter of A's rectangle is greater than the area and perimeter of C's square. Choice D, the area and perimeter of A's rectangle is greater than the area and the perimeter of B's rectangle. All right, so that was a mouthful. And before we panic and you feel confused, we're just going to take this step by step, choice by choice, and then I can show you how all of these words are not really scary at all. So we're going to go over in Jameer's book, and we're going to watch and see how he's going to solve this problem together with us. All right, so we're going to look at choice A. The area and perimeter of B's rectangle is greater than the area and perimeter of C's square. So what we're going to do is we are going to write our first formula because we need to figure out what the area and perimeter is of both shapes. So we're going to take our shape B. And Jameer, look at shape B. What are the measurements on shape B?
The length is 2 centimeters and the width is 10 centimeters.
So now we're going to write our formula for perimeter. Our formula for perimeter is P equals length plus width plus width. So now we're going to take our formula and we're going to transfer our numbers into those letters. So P equals 2 plus 2 plus 10 plus 10. All right, so now we're going to add those up. We always start with our larger number, and in this case, it will be our width, which is 10 centimeters. So we're going to start counting from the tens at the end of the equation and counting our way backwards to get our total perimeter. So come on, Jameer, let me hear you count.
10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
So now this is when you rewrite your equation and fill in your answer. P equals 24 centimeters. So this is when we're going to substitute our letters in our formula for numbers. Area equal 2 for the length times 10 for the width. So now, Jamia, this is when you do the multiplication. What is the multiplication?
2 times 10. 2 times 10 equals 20.
Great job. So now we're going to get the measurements for our shape C, which is actually a square. So with a square, all sides are equal. So 5 centimeters is for the length and 5 centimeters is for the width. So we're going to write our perimeter formula. P equals L plus L plus W plus W. All right, so now we're going to substitute our letters for numbers. P equals 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. All right, so Jamir, this is when we're going to do the addition.
5, 10, 15, 20. P equals 20.
Great job. So now we're going to write our formula for area, which is A equals length times width. All right, so now we're going to substitute our letters for numbers. So Jamir, what is our substitution?
A equals 5 times 5.
Great job.
5 times 5 equals 25. So A equals 25.
Great job. All right, so this is when we're going to highlight our area and perimeter so we can be able to target in on the question that we are being asked. All right, Jamia, so tell me what our perimeter and our area is.
P equal 24 centimeters. A equal 20 centimeters. And P equal 20 centimeters. And A equal 25 centimeters.
Great job. All right, so now we have all our answers highlighted. We want to look back at our question. Our question was, the area and perimeter of B's rectangle is greater than the area and perimeter of C's square. So let's see if that's correct. So that means, Jamir, the question is saying to us, we need to see if B's area and perimeter is larger than C area and perimeter. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at the area for B. Our area for B was A equals what?
A equals 20 centimeters.
All right, and what is our area for C?
A equals 25 centimeters.
So which one is greater? Which one is a bigger number, 25 or 20?
25.
All right, so that means C is bigger, correct? That's what this is showing us, that C is correct. Well, that means our choice is incorrect because we need our area to be greater. B needs to have the larger number. We need B to have been the 25. But because B is 20, then we know that choice A could not work. So we're going to now move on to choice B. All right, so instead of us moving on to our second option, we're going to work our perimeter so this way we can be certain that choice A is incorrect. So Jamir, what is our perimeter for B?
P equals 24 centimeters.
All right, and what is our perimeter for C?
P equals 20 centimeters.
So which one is bigger? Is 24 bigger than 20?
Yes.
All right then, so that means on this side that B was greater Now, for the question, it said we needed both the area and the perimeter to both be greater. In this case, we have the area is smaller in B, and then we have the perimeter to be greater. So now we can be certain that choice A is incorrect. All right, so like we said, choice A is incorrect. So now we're going to move on to choice B. The area and perimeter of C's square is greater than the area and perimeter of B's rectangle. All right, so in order to answer the question, we must remember what our area and perimeter was of each shape. So Jamir, what was our perimeter and area for shape B?
Our perimeter is 24 centimeters. Our area is 20 centimeters.
All right, good job. So now tell me, what is the perimeter and area of shape C?
Our perimeter is 20 centimeters. Our area is 25 centimeters.
Good job. All right, so now we're going to focus and look at our perimeters for both shape. Which one is bigger, B or C?
B 24 is bigger than 20, so B is bigger.
Good job. All right, so now that we circled our larger perimeter, which one of our areas are bigger, B or C?
25 is bigger than 20, so C is bigger.
All right, so let's circle C. All right, so now we can see that our perimeter for shape B is our larger, and our area for shape C is larger. But the question says we need to find if C's is greater than B's, which would mean both perimeter and area would need to be larger. And that's not the case, so again, B is incorrect. All right, so like we said, choice B is incorrect. So we're going to move on to choice C. The area and perimeter of A's rectangle is greater than the area and perimeter of C's square. So before we go to answer the question, I wanted to go over something that I feel like is and can be and has been maybe an issue for some people. So when you see a shape and they give you the measurements, as you see, we have 8 centimeters here and we have 4 centimeters there. But we do not have any measurements here. So you are supposed to assume that they reflect each other. So whatever number is here, which is at your width, going across, this way is your width, then they are to be identical in size. So that would be then 8 as well. Same thing like here on your other side, which is called your length. It's going up this way. That's your length. That's 4. So we are to assume that they are the exact same. So this side is 4 too. That's very important for you to remember, because when you're doing your formula, this is how you get 2 widths and 2 lengths. And you need that to put in your perimeter formula in order for you to solve. So be careful when you go into solve your problem to make sure that you automatically put in the missing numbers. We're going to go ahead and look at the same shape. This is our shape for A. All right, so like I was telling you, so this shape we have here, this shape is a square. Not only can we see it by looking at it, but because they only gave us one of the measurements. When you see that, you're to assume that all of them are identical. So there's 5 centimeters here, 5 centimeters here, and 5 centimeters here. And we need to know that again so we can put that in our perimeter and our area formula. All right, so we're going to start out by writing our formula for perimeter, which is P equals L plus L plus W plus W. Then we're going to transfer our letters into numbers. So we should have P equals 4 plus 4, plus 8 plus 8. And then I'm going to give Jamir a moment so he can do the math. All right, Jamir, so it's time for you to do the math.
8 plus 8 equals 16. 16 plus 4 equals 20. 20 plus 4 equals 21, 22, 23, 24.
Good job. All right, so now we're going to find the area for the same shape. We're going to use our formula, area equals L times W. We're going to then transfer our letters into numbers. So our equation should look like A equals 4 times 8. And then I'm going to give Jamir a moment so he can do the math. All right, Jamir, so what's the math?
4 times 8 equals 32 centimeters.
Great job. All right, so now we're going to move on to our shape C. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to find our perimeter, starting with our formula, P equals L plus W plus W. We're going to then transfer our letters into numbers, which then we have our formula. It should look like P equals 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. And I'm going to give Jamir a moment so he can do the math. All right, Jamir, it's time to do the math.
5, 10, 15, 20. The perimeter is 20 centimeters.
Great job. All right, so now moving on to the area. We're going to use our formula, A equals L times W. We're going to transfer our letters into numbers. So our formula should look like A equals 5 times 5. And in just a moment, Jamir is going to do the math. All right, Jamir?
5 times 5 equals 25, so 25 centimeters.
Great job. All right, so now that we got our measurements for both shapes, we're going to go in and highlight our perimeter for both shapes so we can look at them separately. And now we're going to do the same thing for our area. All right, so now this is when we're going to see which perimeter is bigger, shape A or shape C. So, Jamir, which one is bigger?
24. The 24 is bigger than the 20.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and circle the 24. All right, so now we're going to look at our area for the same two shapes. So is A bigger than C?
Oh, A is bigger. The 32 centimeters is bigger.
Great job. So now we're going to circle the 32. All right, so now that we see which one we have larger, we can see that shape A, both area and perimeter, is larger than C. So it looks like we have a winner. C is our correct answer. All right, so like we said, choice C is our correct choice. So even though we found the answer, we always, out of practice, and just always so we can always know what the right answer definitely looks like, we work all options. So we're going to go ahead and work choice D. The area and perimeter of A's rectangle is greater than the area and perimeter of B's rectangle. All right, so we're going to go in, since we already know what our perimeter and areas for all of our shapes, we're just going to write down the ones we need, and we need A's perimeter and area. So we have P equals 24 centimeters, and our area equals 20 centimeters. And then we have for shape B, we have our perimeter 20 centimeters, and our area, that's 25 centimeters. All right, so now we're going to look to see which one is bigger. We're going to look at our perimeters first. Jamir, which perimeter is bigger, A or B?
They are the same.
Okay, that's true. And so now we're going to look at our area. Which one is bigger?
The 32 centimeters.
All right, so let's circle the 32. All right, so as we can see, both our perimeters are the same, and shape A area is larger. So the question said, was A greater in area and perimeter, but unfortunately, B's perimeter is the same as A's perimeter, which then makes it incorrect. So D is not right. All right, guys, our next problem. Jasmine is planting a garden in her backyard and needs to know how much space she has to plant seeds. Explain one way that Jasmine could break apart this shape of her garden in order to find the area. Write two equations she could use to find the total area. All right, so we see we have our measurements. We have 5 centimeters. We have 2 centimeters. We have another 2 centimeters. We have 4 centimeters. We have 3 centimeters. And we also have 6. These shapes can usually seem very scary. But really, all we need to do is find a place that we could slice them off to where we can deal with them as 2 separate shapes. So I'm going to go right here to this leg. And I'm just going to extend it across just like that. And this way, I've created 2 separate shapes. Now, when you do that, you say, so which numbers do I use? Well, this 6 represents all of this. So this whole side is 6. But since I cut it off to here, we're only using 4 centimeters of it. And then we have our bottom here, which is 3 centimeters. So this would be considered our length, and this would be our width. And as we know, our formula for area is A equals L times W. So A equals our length, which would be this one, which would be 3, times our width, which would be 4. And if anybody like to give me an answer, Jamil, what's the answer to 3 times 4?
12.
Great job. So our area would be 12 centimeters. So that would be for this shape right here. Just going to squiggle it in so you can see this portion of her yard. It would be 12 centimeters. And our equation would be just that. That's equation number 1. So now we're going to find our equation number 2. So like I said, we're not going to pay attention to this side because this 6 isn't really true anymore. We've used 4 centimeters of it. So there's 2 ways to see, but it shows you here that it's 2 centimeters. And we know 4 times 2, 4 plus 2 is 6. So that lets you know that this part plus this part is what gives you our whole 6. So again, we've used the 4, so now we only have the 2 left. So we're going to focus in on our 2. So we know that our formula starts with A equals L times W. Then we rewrite that A, and we're going to fill those in with numbers. So now here's time when we figure out which side is our length. Our length would be this side here, which would be the 2. And our width would be our 5 that's up here. Now we would just go in and do the simple multiplication. And I'm going to ask Jamir. Jamir, what's the multiplication for 5 times 2?
10.
Great job. Now we have a measurement of 10 centimeters. All right, so like the problem said, we need to write two equations. So we have them both right here. So we're just going to restate them clearly so they can be seen. A equals 3 times 4, and A equals 2 times 5. We said 3 times 4 is 12. We also said 2 times 5 is 10. When we add those two up together, 2 plus 0 is 2, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So now our total area for the backyard, as we needed to find out for the garden, is 22 centimeters that she needs in order to plant her seeds. All right, so on to our last problem. What is the area and perimeter of the shape below? All right, so here's our measurement. As we look closely, we can see this side is 10 centimeters. Then we have this side that is 10 centimeters. We have this bottom down here. This little piece is 1 centimeter. This piece here is 2 centimeters. This piece here is 9 centimeters. And this piece here is 8 centimeters. So the first thing you want to notice is how can we split up this shape to make two shapes so we can find the area and the perimeter. Now the perimeter, again, is always easier because it's going to be the length plus width plus width. But before we use any formula, we want to try to go in and make our two different shapes. To me, it's always easier if you come down to where you see the shape extends at, if we just draw a line right there and cut that straight off. So now we have two different shapes. I'm going to actually even put an A here and a B there. So then you can see we have two different shapes. So we're going to look at our measurement first for A. We can see that we have what is called a width of 1 centimeter and a height of 2 centimeters. So we can go ahead and put this one into our formula. So we're going to put A equals L times W. Then we're going to put A equal, our length is 2. So we're going to put 2 times, our width is 1. And that's going to be our multiplication. Then we're going to do the multiplication, and now we're going to have 2 times 1 equals 2 centimeters. So the area for this part of the shape A is 2 centimeters long. All right, so now we're going to take the same shape A, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to do our perimeter. All right, so our formula, again, is P equals L plus W plus W. So now we're going to substitute that with the P equals, our length was 2, so that's 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1. So then we're going to do that math. So 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. So our perimeter is 6 centimeters. All right, so now it's time to look at our second shape, part of the shape, which is B. And we're going to go in, and since we use this part, we're no longer using this, because that's already spoken for. And we're going to have to now see what our measurements are. So since this 2 has already been used, we know now that it's only, since this 1 has already been used, we know that this 9 is what we have left. All right, and another way to know that 9 is what we have left is because these two sides should mirror. If you was to add 9 plus 1, that would give you 10. Just like the top one here is 10. So we know that since we used the 1 centimeter of our width, now we only have 9 centimeters left. So this 9 is going to be our width. And now when it comes to our height, it's the same thing. We've already used 2 centimeters with this part of the shape. So we no longer have this 2. This side is 10, so this side would have been 10 if you add 8 plus the 2 will give you 10. So we've already used this 2, so now we're only using the 8. So in our formula for area, we're going to have A equals L times W. All right, so now A equals, our length is 8, and our width is 10. So now our multiplication is 8 times 10, which will give us 80 centimeters. All right, so now we're going to get our perimeter for the last part of this shape. So now we have P equals L plus W plus W. And then we're going to write our P again and substitute our letters for numbers. And as we said, our length is 8. So that's 8 plus 8. And then we said our width is 10. So that's 10 plus 10. And then we're going to go in and do that math. And I like to start with the tens. So we're going to go 10, 20. And then 20 plus 8 will give you 28. And then 28 plus 8 will give you 36 centimeters. All right, so now that we have our perimeters for both parts of our shape, we're going to add those together. So our first shape, we had a perimeter of 6 centimeters. And our other shape, we had a perimeter of 36. So we're going to add those two together so we can get a total perimeter. So that's going to be 36 plus 6. And so 6 plus 6 is 12. We put our 2 here. We carry our 1, which puts it on top of the 3. Now we add our 3 plus 1, which will give us 4. So now we have a perimeter of 42 centimeters. All right, so we're going to do the same thing for our area. We have an area of 2 centimeters. And we have another area for 80 centimeters. So we're going to add both those together. We're going to take 80 plus 2. And we're going to add those together. Really, you could do this in your head. There's no zeros. You just move that ones right into the ones place, giving you 82. Or you can say to yourself, 2 plus 0 is 2. 8 plus 0 is 8. And now you have a total area of 82 centimeters for the entire shape. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video and got a lot out of it. And next time, we'll be doing elapsed time. So until next time, it's never about what you don't know. It's always about what you're willing to learn.